Is it time to reveal your real magic and become seen, known, and valued? Welcome to the Visionary Voices Deep Dive. Hi, if we haven't met before, I'm Rena Aiken and I'm Deep Dive Visibility Mentor who helps visionary leaders, creatives, business owners to overcome their fears and discover their visibility superpowers so you can share your voice and your message in the world. And today we're talking about the anatomy of visibility. So this is a really deep topic and I could probably talk about this for a week, but it's lovely to really go deeper into it today with you. So I'm just going to see if I can see the comments. Okay, yes, I can. Hi, Caroline, lovely to have you here with us. So what is this anatomy of visibility? This is about really understanding the depth of this sense of invisibility, feeling invisible. And, I talk about, mindset, I'm a visibility mindset mentor, but really visibility isn't just a mindset issue. It's much deeper than that. It's very multidimensional. It's the mind, it's the emotions actually in our physical body, carried in our cells. The issues around invisibility are actually older than we are and bigger than we are. So they're bigger than we are in that they're collective, and that they're older in we are in that they're ancestral. They come from many, many generations past. So, and so we carry these in these old, their beliefs about what's possible for us around visibility. And it's deeper than that. It's also, I'm not sure if this is running, but I'm going to keep going anyway. If this isn't working, I will come back and re-record this for you, because I am having a bit of a computer day, but I will just keep going. But I actually can't see the comments, and I can't see if this video is actually playing at the moment. So what I was saying there is that, it's not just the invisibility, the anatomy of invisibility. It affects us on the mental level, on the emotional level, actually on the physical level, on the energetic level. It impacts on our beliefs. It impacts on our identity. And our identity is something that's even deeper than beliefs. It's what we believe is possible for us, not possible. It's who we believe we are. And so it's like, this is who I am. This is how the world is. This is how it's got to be. So to understand this visibility block of I'm invisible, and if you've got my visibility breakthrough blueprint, I go into this in a very short bullet point fashion in that report. But just to understand how this shows up for you, how these beliefs and identities show up for you, and how we reinforce our old stories, because that's often the bit we might kind of go, oh yeah, I know I've got this belief, but we don't see that how we're actively showing up to reinforce these beliefs, because there's something about a belief and identity we will actually seek to make that true. We will actually proactively but unconsciously seek to prove that our beliefs are right, because we would sooner be right. So, and one of the ways the invisibility shows up is the core way is that we can be very invisible to ourselves. And how that shows up is disconnected from our feelings, our needs, our desires. So somebody says, how are you? I'm fine. And actually not quite knowing and being really connected to how we're doing. Or, somebody says, what do you want to do? And it's like, well, actually, I don't know what I want to do. I'm not really connected to, let me just go along with you and what you want. I'm flexible, I'm easy. I had that for a very long time. It's like, oh, I'm just very easygoing, I don't mind. But actually that was a symptom of being disconnected from my desires and what I want. And that was habitual, long time. I don't want to share what I want and what I feel with others because it's not safe and they're not listening anyway. So what's the point? That's another one of the beliefs. So this, feeling disconnected from our feelings, our needs, our desires is a big one. And another behavior that reinforces this is having all our attention on others. And I know for me, I was a great listener, but I didn't share very often how I was feeling and what was going on for me. I just didn't want to go there, didn't want to share that with other people. And it was just the conversation. It was all about, what's going on for you. I might share my opinion, but I didn't share the deep stuff of what was going on for you. And how does this show up for you? So just really get connected because it shows up for each of us. But having all of our attention on others, it might be that you've been in, careers or in relationships where you're the one that's giving a lot. You're the one that's in selfless service and really putting your attention on others and seeing their needs and anticipating their needs and then wondering what's wrong with other people. Why is it that they don't see you? And feeling like, oh, other people are selfish. Other people are not interested in me. Other people don't listen. And inside of these beliefs, we don't bother sharing. We don't bother saying, actually, this is what I would like. This is what I want to do. And this is the career I want to follow. This is the message that I want to share. And really spend the time to focus on ourselves and develop that while still using these amazing gifts. So share with me what you relate to here around this topic. Yep, Karen said, yes, I am here. And Lily is here as well. Welcome, Lily. Lovely to see you here. So, and I know for me, as I got connected to my feelings and needs and started to presence them, I had really amazing experiences of others who I thought were very selfish and self-absorbed suddenly being interested in me because I was connected to myself and really starting to see me because I was starting to see myself. It's incredible, the shifts that happen. And I'll come back to that later. What are the skills that we need to show up in these new ways of being? But I just want to get connected to what is it that you resonate with here? What are your ways of being that reinforce your visibility patterns, your sense of I'm invisible? Is it putting your attention on others? Is it being a good listener? Is it, overgiving and self-service to others? Is it not being, putting as much attention as you would like on your feelings and needs? And what's the next level of this for you? So I'd love to hear from you and see if that comes through. So the next part that I want to talk about today is that actually this pattern of invisibility comes with gifts. And the good news is we can break up the old patterns and we get to keep these gifts, because these gifts, they come with this way of being in the world and having a lot of our attention on others and often being very sensitive as well. So some of the gifts with that are the capacity to see the invisible, to see invisible worlds. And that often means being able to intuit what's going on for others, being able to sense, what's going on in the invisible worlds. I having a brilliant intuition, and knowing something without having reason to know it. So being able to navigate invisible worlds. And the other thing that is brilliant, but that can also be very confusing, is that you can intuit other people's needs. You can kind of feel, because your attention is on others. You can sense what's going on for others. You know, you're picking up on their signals about what they're feeling. So you're amazing at intuiting their needs and meeting their needs, which can make you a brilliant practitioner, therapist, coach, because you can really tune in to what's going on for others, and you can access deep insights based on that ability to see the invisible realms. So you can see what's the patterns that are going on for them. You can really sense into that. So it's really brilliant. And the other thing that comes with that is empathy. And you can be very empathic because you're connected to what other people are feeling. So this means that you can also, one of the gifts of invisibility is that you can create a very safe space for others, with your empathy, with your presence, with how others are feeling, and with your amazing intuition. You can give them fantastic insights and hold a really safe space for transformation. And that's one of the reasons I'm so excited to be, helping people who've struggled with invisibility to get out into the world and do the deep transformational work, because absolutely we have incredible gifts that the world needs that actually come from this, lifetime of struggling with visibility. Two sides of one coin, but it's amazing. And the other gift that comes with this invisibility is creativity. Being able to see possibilities, being able to tune in to the wisdom of the invisible worlds and bring through new ways of being. And this is why I believe that we're the visionary leaders, or some of the visionary leaders that our world needs. We can actually see what's needed with our insight. We can create new ways of being with these amazing gifts of creativity. So it's incredible. So really embrace this, the gifts that come with invisibility. This is part of the anatomy of invisibility. We'll keep all of that. So the third thing I want to talk about, so we've talked about, how it shows up for you. And let me just check some comments. Caroline is saying, sharing more and more of what I need in my relationships. Beautiful. Marie Cecile, welcome. I used to think that people would never remember me, as if I was transparent. That's such a beautiful example. Marie Cecile. I remember I was a lot younger, but I would be walking down the street and I would see somebody I know, and I would just act as if they couldn't see me. I was so shy, so shy. I didn't want to say hello. I would get so self-conscious, and I would just pretend like, well, you actually can't see me, so I don't need to say hello. It was kind of weird, but it was totally that, acting like I was transparent. Hi, John. Marisa said, great with the invisible world. Yes, it's an incredible gift. And I relate on holding space and creativity. Beautiful. So the third step here is to get clear on the skills and the new ways of being that help us to break up and break free from the old patterns. So we can do deep transformational work to clear these, and that's really useful. And we also need to consistently be looking at our daily behaviors and how we are showing up to break this up. Because sometimes when we've had a lifetime pattern in some area of our life, it might not be in all areas, but it might be in one or more areas of your life that you've had a pattern of invisibility. So it's about learning to communicate in that area, learning to presence yourself, as Caroline said, learning to speak to your partner about your needs. I had one client who was working with me and she was like, oh, I need to speak to my husband about, because, I thought I was not doing enough around the house, but actually I'm doing too much and I need to get the balance right. So she started to get connected to what she really felt and say, actually, I have these needs and I'm going to communicate these needs. Simple, but big. It's big. It's all part of the shift. So for me, I also had to learn how to speak, how to communicate publicly, how to engage with public speaking, because I had a lifetime of decades of kind of going, I don't want to speak in front of a group ever. So that was a new skill to break up the old pattern. And it took time for me to get that. So what skills, do you see have been missing that you have already developed, that you're working on, taking it to the next level? Another one that was really challenging for me and for many people that I work with is dealing with conflict. Because we can't resolve conflict without saying, this is what I feel and this is what I need. And if we've been conflict averse, if we've been in habits of putting everybody else first and saying, oh, it's okay, we kind of miss those skills of dealing with conflict in a way that's productive, where we can negotiate on our needs and we can either, disappear from people or just go along with things. So dealing with conflict and learning how to negotiate in a way that created beautiful resolution was a very important skill for me. And I'm working with a client today who she's been breaking up the old invisibility patterns, and now she's going, I don't know how to have these conversations, in a way that's really helpful. So, we're going to focus on the skills of learning to communicate, to presence your needs, and still be a great listener and still be, creating that connection and empathy. And I did some lives earlier this year on dealing with conflict. If you want to go deeper into that one, have a look back through the sessions. Also, one client that I was working with, breaking this up, she had to learn to communicate what she felt with her partner and really share what was going on for her in her inner world, because she just didn't. The conversation stayed on a very functional level. So for her, it was a huge thing to share her inner world that she kept very secret and hidden and safe for years with her partner, with other family members, with colleagues. And then she really was able to actually be a leader in those relationships and help other people open up their deep inner world and share that. And they felt so seen, as well as her feeling so seen as well. This is really important. So, so what can you connect with? Janet's saying, disconnected from my feelings, but in recovery. Beautiful. There's always the next level, Janet, on that as well. And I know there was, one client I had, actually probably quite a few, but one in particular, who, as she was learning to trust herself and trust her intuition and trust her wisdom, she really got connected to her inner wise woman and really claimed her deep wisdom, her spirituality, which she'd been keeping hidden from her business, and bringing that, her deep wisdom and her values of inclusion and diversity and wanting to create change in the world, and bringing that front and center in her business. And then she would go to networking events and she would say, hi, and she wouldn't even, before she even said what she did, she said, I'm all about redressing the balance of power and bringing in inclusion and diversity into business. And I do this through, and she was working in finance and business strategy. But because she was showing up and leading for the first time with her values, with her beautiful wisdom and integrity, and putting that forward, and sharing that visibly with the world, rather than hiding it and just saying, oh, I'm a business strategist. She was really, people were coming up to her afterwards saying, wow, that sounds amazing, tell me more. She was getting invited to participate. She was on Clubhouse. Somebody says, come in, let's host a room together. People were messaging her. It really made a difference from going from being invisible with those parts of ourselves to sharing those in a way that was really magnetic and creates connection. So these are the ways. So what for you are the new habits, the new ways of being that you need to show up in to create connection. I would love to hear from you around this. And one of the ways that I have found that's really valuable for breaking up these new and these old ways of being and stepping into the new way of being, for me was poetry as well, and choosing, or a poem would choose me, that I could work with, that would really invite me into these new ways of being, of connecting deeply with my feelings and needs. One beautiful poem just for connecting with your feelings and needs is Mary Oliver, Love, Sorrow. And you can also do it as, love, fear, and any other emotion. And let me share that with you now. Love, sorrow, she is yours now, and you must take care of what has been given. Brush her hair, help her into her little coat. Hold her hand, especially when crossing the road. For think, what if you should lose her? Then you would be sorrow yourself. Her drawn face, her sleeplessness would be yours. Take care, touch her forehead, that she feel herself not so utterly alone. And smile, that she does not altogether forget the world before the lesson. Have patience in abundance, and do not ever lie or ever leave her, even for a moment, by herself, which is to say, possibly again abandoned. She is strange, mute, difficult, sometimes unmanageable. But remember, she is a child, and amazing things can happen. And you may see, as the two of you go walking together in the morning light, how little by little she relaxes. She looks around her. She begins to grow. And this is such a powerful poem and such a powerful practice for breaking up this invisibility pattern. And it's so simple in some ways, although not easy, certainly in the beginning, to really connect with the core of the part of us that feels invisible, that feels that others are not listening, including ourselves, and to connect with her. I often find when I'm stepping up to the next level of invisibility and feeling nervous and feeling hard to connect. Hi, Pauline. Yes, it is a beautiful poem. That when I connect with that inner self who's carrying those feelings of invisibility, and for me, she's often a 4-year-old self, or sometimes even younger, sometimes all the way back to before I was born in the womb. And when I kind of connect with her and hold her hand, or hold her in my arms and connect and ask her what she feels and needs, the tension melts, the nervousness melts, and I can come back into flow and show up and be visible with all of myself. And I don't feel that inner conflict within me. So it's a beautiful, beautiful poem for breaking up the invisibility pattern. So, and there's another poem, which it's a long one, I'll just share a bit of it, which is so good for, and I've worked with, it's probably the poem that I've worked with most in the poetry alchemy sessions that I've done with clients, where I would work with people deeply on just working with the poem to help them integrate a new way of being. And it's called The Invitation by Araya Mountain Dreamer. And it's such a good poem for really getting connected to what you deeply desire, for what you really want, for what you really feel. It's very hard to spend a lot of time in this poem and be disconnected from what you feel. It's that powerful. So it's such a gorgeous practice for getting connected to your feelings and needs. I'll share a little bit of it. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for. And if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayal or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. And so you can see it just goes right to the heart of many of these patterns. It just drops right in. And that's why I'm so excited about, using poetry in our work. And I'm going to be inviting you into a new 5-day challenge that I'm creating called the Poetry Breakthrough Experience. A 5-day journey to ignite your visibility, and that will be coming up in June. So I'm really excited just creating this at the moment, because poetry really does, when you find the right poem for you, for the challenge, the stretch that you're coming into, it is amazing. It just cuts through. It cuts through any BS, it cuts through the stories, and it goes right to the heart of the patterns, and it starts rewriting the new stories when you really commit and when you really go deep. So I'd love to hear your insights from today, what you're taking away, and I will respond to all the comments that you leave, whether you're watching this live or in the replay, and I will speak to you again soon. But if you want some help with this, reach out for a call with me, and I can let you know what else is coming up that you might want to join in with. Take care. Bye for now.